Now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk Hookup. Get ready for more of the best fishing information and the hottest tips on improving your angling skills. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And by Rancho Leonero, where your wildest Baja dreams come true. And now, Southern California's sports fishing voice, the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Mexa, and Corey Sandin.
Throw them out there.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, Let's Talk Hookup, right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio. Pete Gray here with Rock Cod Rick Mexa. We're in the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup here, right next to very busy San Diego landings in Point Loma. Captain Jim Kinsgmill is here. He's from gyropros.com, Fraser Binoculars, and is a true fishing and binocular expert for sure.
This has been great. So much cool info, and so great having Jimmy here. There's so much history about the company, and you were a gyro guy before we were all using Fraser. It's just awesome. There's so much cool history here, and it comes right from the horse's mouth, and there's no doubt this is what you use every single day. And this has been a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to having you. If you want to join us here in the second hour, give us a call at 213-432-1090. Again, 213-432-1090, or send us a text. Again, text the show, only available through the Let's Talk Hookup app. It's a free download. Great way to listen to Let's Talk Hookup. Great way to hear the archive shows, and the only way to text in your questions to Captain Jim Kinsgmill. It's been a very busy morning, both on the phones and on the text. For sure, the best way to get through, though, right now is on that phone. 213-432-1090. Been packed all morning, but we had 2 drop off during the break. So right now, there is an open phone line, and it has been a very busy day.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's find out what's biting.
You got it, man. It's time for our Catch Report today. That Catch Report is sponsored in part by the Fish Pros at Fisherman's Processing in San Diego. The best processing for your fish when your trip returns. Plus, with Fish Pros, the market, now you can purchase their famous spices, their rubs, the poke kit, and more. Stop by their location on Old Town and Trailer Street, or order online at fishermansprocessing.com. Be sure you make those reservations by texting them at 619-255-3128. And with that great fishing coming on right now, man, you got to get those reservations in. It is filling up fast. Let's start off our fishdope.com report with our private boater buddy, Captain Mark Wish is on the line. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, good morning, Ricky and Pete and Jimmy. Great show this morning. Love all this gyro stuff.
Good stuff, huh?
It is good stuff, let me tell you. So, hey, guys, with less wind, calmer water, and much better moon phase, guess what? It's biting. Thank God. And this stretch of good weather is forecast to last for a while, and that's what it's going to take for conditions to really straighten out and the whole program to come together here. But we're seeing some really good signal. So starting up north, that sea bass has been kind of split between Santa Cruz and Santa Rosa. But this morning, Santa Rosa gets the horseshoe. It's biting at Betcher's pretty good. And good scores up there yesterday, and they're already on the chew here this morning. Danny just gave me a heads up a little bit ago. So that's good news. And a lot of that fish up there, that's that big stuff, tanker grade up there for sure. At Santa Barbara Island, yesterday those sea bass kind of got, well, a couple days ago actually, those sea bass got back on the bite. Limits for those that were in the alpha positions and had, some knowledge about what they were doing. They had limits up there yesterday. Not quite the same grade of fish. It's not that great big stuff that was there, but still nice ones for sure. Sea bass, are all great. And I had some for dinner last night, as a matter of fact. Boy, is that stuff tasty.
Nice.
And then those yellows up there, guys, I mean, there are tanker-grade yellows at Santa Barbara Island, more than a few. But it's close to structure, and it definitely requires heavy gear to stand a shot at landing them there. Catalina, it's been kind of a weird funk this year. It's definitely slow getting started. There's plenty of bait around, still some bait there, backside east, backside west, and a couple different spots on the front. But overall, the fishing for the yellows and the sea bass is subpar for sure. A few around, but not what it should be. But good halibut fishing, though, up shallow on the beaches. And speaking of halibut, it's been great this year to see this resurgence of halibut. The islands, I've been talking about that here all winter. Incredible fishing for the halibuts. But now locally starting to get with the program, and what we haven't seen in quite some time at halibut's biting up there in Santa Monica Bay, and that's great news for the upcoming halibut derby. So hopefully that continues. And then offshore, those bluefin are bouncing back also. That area is above the 390 a little bit, kind of over towards the 371, 425 zone like that. And then another area that's kind of southwest of the 43 is showing some signs of development there. We'll see if that kind of gets with the program, and that's good because that's in U.S. waters. But nighttime's the right time for the jigs, guys. A lot of that fish is at night, and a lot of it's, jig fishing on heavy tackle to land them. And daytime, there's a few bait fish, daytime jig fish, and, of course, throwing a Mad Mac around is always a good way to get one of them big bluefins. So overall, better weather, better conditions, fish are biting. It's time to go fishing, guys.
I like it, man. Certainly some good fishing to be had right now, Mark. Appreciate that. And boy, if somebody wants to get one of the best bait tanks in the world, keep up with what's going on at Pacific Edge, how do we find you?
Well, Ricky, we're in Huntington Beach. We're on the corner of Bolsa Chica and Edinger. And phone number at the store is 714-840-4262. The website's pacificedgetackle.com. And, hey, Pete, I got to tell you a quick story here. So I was at Kaiser yesterday, and the world's best physical therapist, Kristen Jackson, we were scheduling an appointment for another couple weeks out, and she said, well, how about like a Saturday morning? I said, can't do it. I got to do this fish report. She said, fish report? And I go, yeah. For like 32 years now? Pete?
Yeah,
coming up
30,
on...
yeah, about right coming up on 32 years, yeah. Sorry, Kristen.
Oh, man. Every time I think of that, I've been doing it for the 32 years with you, but it's just, how in the hell can we have been doing it?
I know. Still around, man. Still doing it.
That's a lot
for
of Let's
sure.
Talk
Let's
Hookups.
hope we have another few years left in us for sure.
Oh, I'm counting on it, buddy.
But I want to remind you, fishdope.com, of course, your source for great information. $20 off a new membership to fishdope.com using the code HookUpNow. Lowercase, no space. HookUpNow is your $20 code to get all that information that Mark was just talking about at fishdope.com. And Mark, sure appreciate you and all the years of great stuff. And let's keep it rolling and talk to you next Saturday.
We'll definitely catch up with you on Saturday, and definitely time to go fishing, guys. And I think it's going to start getting better and better, Pete.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Good.
Appreciate that
We'll
very much. All right. While we're waiting for Marcos, there's lots and lots of good questions, but I have a question because we talked about electronic stabilization versus gyro stabilization, and there's a cheaper way to go. But why? There's a Fujinon that's like electronic stabilization that's around $1,100, $1,200, something like that, right?
Yeah, it's a Techno-Stabby.
Techno-Stabby.
Yeah.
Explain the difference of what, the Techno-Stabby for Stabby or whatever it is for $1,100, $1,200, $1,400, whatever, versus getting, one of the Frasers
gyro.
for a true gyro at either $49.95 or $3,500, $3,600 for the Recons?
It's $3,600.
$3,600, yeah.
So my understanding on the Techno-Stabby, it has a real small gyro in it, and it does it like fools the eye. When the thing moves, it has electronics that kind of shift it back to where it was a second ago, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And so it's a combination of the two. It's better than nothing.
Yes.
Because it
works.
It works better than nothing, yes, but it takes like 4 AAs. It lasts like about 6 hours. For whatever reason, it eats the batteries a lot. And I'm not sure why, but it just does, and it's better than nothing.
Yes.
Better than nothing, but the image quality and stabilization, they're not on the same, they're not even close to the same level.
No,
that's again, I'm not knocking that product,
but
I can tell you, having the Fraser and then, I've used those from Buds, there is no comparable difference.
Yeah, it's just a more stable image. You're going to see more with the true...
Smoother scan rate. Everything about it's better.
Yeah, and you will notice the difference.
Very much
I've seen it.
And I'll tell you that difference changes greatly on the platform that you're on, too. Right. We use ours in a skiff. Like, you get that boat really starting to bounce around and move around a lot more. The difference in the steadiness of the image really amplifies. So if you're talking about a smaller boat platform, even more so, having a true gyro, what a difference it makes.
Yeah, and that leads us into Sean in Blossom Valley's question. Says, good morning. Is there anything you can see in the binos that you just can't see with regular binoculars? Is it simply the magnification and stabilization? Are they great help from a 17-foot boat given the depth height disadvantage?
Yeah, I mean, the height does make a difference on how far you can see, but the rougher the conditions get, the lower you want to be. So the calmer it is, the higher you go, because you start getting funny angles in the rough seas, and you overlook fish when you're too high in rough conditions. So when you're low, it's good. The big thing on a low platform is when you're down. A guy in the tower is going to see different stuff than a guy on the bridge, and when you're low, you're going to see locally for skiff guys here is you pull it back and you want to just look at a zone is in the gyros. You're going to see all the shear waters. You're going to see all the turns, like in a cloudy condition like we got every morning now. The turns that are flying against the clouds, you cannot see those with naked eye.
A gray bird on a gray background just disappears.
Doesn't work. It disappears. Your brain won't register that you see it. Your eyes see everything.
Yeah.
But your brain is going off the background pattern. Right. And so your brain's not going to register that you see the birds. But when you have that magnification, you're going to see the birds and you're going to see the direction they're going. And you can literally run, you're in your skiff, you run out to the 302, you pull it back and you look and you go, man, look at all those shear waters that you cannot even really see. You see one or two maybe from the skiff. You didn't see them
before.
But you see 20 or 30 and they're all going west or they're all going south. And you're like, guess which way I'm going?
Yeah.
The birds know. The birds know, and you follow the birds. You see, you'll see current breaks and stuff, and you're like, hey, let's run up this break because there's going to be a kelp on it. All those kind of things that give you that intelligence gathering information, it's just game changing on any boat at any level.
I hope you're paying attention to what Jimmy just kind of glanced over there, right? Following the birds, following the current lines, finding where the fish are, right? Those are all reasons that you got to have a pair of gyro binoculars to find where you're going,
and things that you kind of couldn't do unless it was presented right in front of you without this tool.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can now do what he's talking about that's 2 miles away or 3 miles away from your boat. I mean, I can talk about it. Standing on the deck of your boat, our height platform is about 12 inches above the water itself, and without any problem, from multiple miles away, we can pick exactly what he's talking off. Seeing a current line, seeing a trash rip on the water, seeing a single turn bird that's picked off a flat spot from multiple miles away without I would love to have a 50-foot tower to climb up into. That's not an option for us. We'd stand on the deck of the boat multiple miles with those things, no problem, every trip.
One of the best examples I ever had was from an albacore guy. He's got 2 sets always. He fishes 260 days a year. He doesn't let anybody touch the ones that he's not using. And he says that when they're albacore fishing and they're hundreds of miles offshore, all he has to see is one jumping albacore. If he misses it, if he's 1 mile off the school, he could go 200 miles without a bite. But if he sees one albacore jump and he turns the boat to that one jumper, he's on the school.
Wow.
And to him, it's game changer. He's like, I have 2 personal sets that nobody's allowed to touch. And if one goes down,
that's
I freak
his
out. It's 2, and he repairs them about every 3 years. I mean, 260 days. Those things are on 260 days a year.
Crazy.
Think about that.
That's crazy.
For sure. Well, hey, let's continue our catch report. Marcos from C4 Sport Fishing's on the line. Good morning, Marcos.
Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing today?
What's up, Marcos?
Talking about fishing, biting.
Let's start off with that. We got a few calls from some of the guys this morning, and those guys seem to be making good use of their gyros out there. Polaire Supreme has 39 bluefin to start off day 2 of their trip there. They're on a 3-day trip. Those fish are all in the 80 to 100-pound range, and I think he said the smallest one was actually 60, but we also know that Aliar tends to underestimate some of those fish. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some bigger ones in there also. The Tribute called in. They are on a day and a half. They had 12 fish there. The Voyager on their one-day trip has 16, all bluefin there. And these fish, like I said, are in that 60 to 120-pound range. Probably most of them sitting around that 80 to 100. So it's not like they're catching a bunch of, 15, 20-pound bluefin. There's some big guys out there, so make sure you're prepared for that. The Polaris Supreme said 300-gram knife jigs are working well, so something to take into account there. Overall, during the week, very similar fishing. Yesterday, Supreme came back with 40 bluefin, 4 yellowtail. Pacifica had 5 bluefin, 44 yellowtail, so very good fishing there. San Diego yesterday had 28 yellowtail. A little tougher on those full days to see the bluefin. I know they saw one on Thursday, and it was 135 pounds, I believe, and good yellowtail fishing. So, again, if we're complaining about yellowtail on the full day, we're doing something well there, especially when you sneak in that 135-pound bluefin. So overall, good fishing on those trips, the day and a half, the 2 days, even the full day, still catching yellowtail, a little bit of bluefin there. The half days, very good fishing there. They're definitely taking some more shots at the calico bass there. So very good rock fishing out on the 9 Mile bank or a little deeper water earlier in the morning, so very good rock fishing. Seeing a little bit more calico bass. Thursday afternoon, they caught 25, released 50. Yesterday afternoon, they caught, I believe, 10, released 50. And actually, the twilight trip, we finally got our first twilight trip out last night. They had a calico bass, released 50, caught a handful of rockfish on there. So very good fishing all around from those half days to those multi-day trips. Take a look at the website, seaforthlanding.com. We have a full schedule up there for those half days, including the twilights currently running Friday, Saturday, and as usual, we'll expand that as the season moves on. Full days on the San Diego and the Sea Watch, the 1 days, day and a half, 2 days on all the other boats, and there's definitely a variety up there. Got those 1 days, day and a half, 2 days. I think we still have a few spots on some of the 3 days coming up there, so lots of options. seaforthlanding.com. Give us a call at the office, 619-224-3383. We'll be able to help you out, get you on a trip there. Then come down and visit in person, get stocked up on some tackle to catch everything from calico bass to bluefin. The guys in tackle shop will be more than willing to help you guys out.
Right on, man. Great fishing, Marcos. Glad to hear that the fish are back on the bite, and we'll look forward to just having another great report from you next week.
We'll talk to you then, guys.
Thanks, Marcos. Appreciate that very much. That's going to wrap up our catch report today. I want to remind you, it's not just hooks that make anglers wild about Gamakatsu. The finest split and solid rings are also made by Gamakatsu. If you're looking for quality swivels, Gamakatsu makes the best. And when it comes to assist hook, Gamakatsu's got you covered there, too, with a wide assortment of sizes and styles. See your local dealer or check out gamakatsu.com.
All right, phones are packing up. You want to get through? 213-432-1090. Let's jump into it, Rick.
You got it. Hey, wanted to snag a quick text that I thought was a really fun one, and especially in regards to the M25Es. It's from Mike in Torrance. Good morning, guys. Jimmy, can you explain what demilitarized means? What is removed? Was there day vision, night vision, amplify water differences, etc.? What are we?
So the main demilitarization of the device is, number one, is it's got an objective lens that has a laser filter on it, and it has something to do with weapons guidance. So where, like, if a helicopter puts a laser beam on a target, a soldier in the field the laser filter will allow the soldier with the gyros to look at the target and he'll see the laser, where the naked eye can't see the laser, and he'll say, yep, or nope, that's friendly, or that's foe. Okay, that's foe, blow it up.
Got it.
And so they take that lens out. They're not allowed to sell it. It's military
priority or praetorian
equipment. And so they take that objective lens off. And what we do is, they used to have on the top of the gyro, to uncage it, or to uncage it into view, you had to squeeze the top of the pad on the gyro, on the rubber, and it was a momentary switch. And after about 5 minutes of looking, your forearms would start catching on fire, because you just would,
because you're squeezing the whole time.
Yeah, if you let go at all, it would uncage, and the image is all jumping around. You're like, oh, we got to get rid of this. And so this was when I got involved 23 years ago, whatever it was. I go, you got to get rid of this. And the lenses used to have little hash marks on it, like targeting hash marks. And I go, you got to get rid of that. You got to get rid of the touchpad. And then we started turning the knob. And when it says like auto and whatnot on the nomenclature is kind of wrong. It should just say on, off, cage, on cage.
Yeah. Right.
So they never changed the nomenclature on the switch. But the switch is, the first click is power up.
Spooling up.
And then the second click is cage and uncage. And so, and that's it. So we got rid of the touchpad that doesn't exist anymore, and you turn the knob and it holds it for you. I mean, literally, when this first thing started, it was Russian pelling gyros that came from the fall of Russia, and these pelling devices came on the military marketplace, and a guy that fished out of Oceanside introduced us to this stuff and said, you got to try this. This is crazy. And it had a spring-loaded thumb switch, and you had to hold your thumb up for hours, and it was brutal. And we literally had matchsticks, wooden matchsticks, wedged under the thumb piece to hold the gyro up, and that's how you used it.
Wow.
How excited were you, and then also bummed when this technology really got out to everybody else? I mean, talk about I know because Fraser took things to such another level, and now you've got such a great product, and you get to put a fisherman's input into it, and they build this perfect pair of binoculars, but also what a competitive edge went away.
It was game-changing. When my dad and I fished for marlin, and we chased the marlin up and down the coast every week, we were seeing marlin on other sides of other boats, and we'd have to go around them and go bait the fish and catch it. And the people were just scratching their head and going, what in the hell is going on here? And
I got one that's a half mile on the other side of that guy.
That is correct.
Yeah, but that half mile is now out of his range, and here you are a mile on the other side of him. Like, I got one right here. Here we go.
Yes, it's 100% true.
Awesome.
All right. Hey, another great text from Tom in University City says, do gyros work well for people who wear reading glasses like traditional binoculars do?
Yeah, they work just fine. So the eyepiece, the eye ring that comes with it, just don't buy eye shields.
Yeah.
So if you want a long time viewing and you're going to be in them for a long time, we take the little rubber eye rings off of the eyepiece and then put the Baker Marine eye shield over it. And the eye shield goes over it, and it basically blocks out all the peripheral light, and it helps you hold the gyro to your face.
Yes.
So you can literally hold the gyro with one hand. You're not holding it with two hands. You basically lean back and put one arm under your armpit, and then you hold the gyro with your other hand, one-handed, and because we're in them for hours upon hours,
for sure. You got to see stuff.
You got to see stuff.
So for somebody that wears glasses, just use what comes with them.
Just use what comes with it. It's fine.
And if you don't want to use that method, like for mine, I get the eye pieces, buy those from you at gyropros.com.
Yeah, the little eye rings, rubber eye rings, and they fold back. Like you can roll them back.
No, the eye rings come with it, right?
The eye rings are standard.
Yeah, but I'm saying the other thing, the eye shield
is extra.
Yeah, it's extra. And you buy those at gyropro.com.
Yes.
And those, like if you don't wear glasses, are great because you can keep them more steady.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But they work great for people with glasses. My dad has for years, and no problem.
Okay, so do you recommend people that wear glasses to use your glasses when you're binoing?
You can. It's really about
right?
If you wear glasses, you can adjust the lens so you get your best image, and so you want to try them with your glasses and try them without. And if you're going to do quick spot checking, just leave your glasses on and tune the gyros
to your glasses.
To your glasses, and you want to do that at the dock. You want to look at a boat name across the harbor, and look at the where port is, San Diego, and the little letters, and you focus at each eye at the dock.
And how do you tune your gyro?
Give us that rundown. That's a great tip.
So you want to so the pupillary distance side to side is basically resistance and force, and you grab both eyepieces at the same time and force them in or force them out. And generally, you're going to put the gyro itself, the body of the gyro, between your legs. When you're sitting down, you squeeze them with your legs and then push in or out to adjust. And when you get the little half moons, that means your pupils aren't aligned with the prisms and the lenses. So you got to get that adjustment just right for your face. And then once you get that situated, then you put an eye cover on one side. You put an objective lens cover on one side, and then tune that eye that's not on, tune it in the parking lot, and then put the cover on that side, and then pull that other eye cover off and tune the other eye.
There's a little adjustment on each lens that you turn.
Yep, the eyepiece is adjustable. And you start it at 0, and then if you have people borrowing it, you remember what your settings are.
Yeah.
And then it gets you in the ballpark before you put, like I said, when you put the eye shield on, it's hard to adjust. So
the worst thing is when somebody comes on your boat and goes, here, let me check these out, and they readjust everything. It's like, no. That's why you got to have multiple pair, right?
We had
one of the reasons.
Yeah, one of the reasons.
We had one pair on our boat for about 2 trips.
Yeah.
And that was it. It's just like, you can't have the other guy, you have to have everybody looking.
Yeah.
And the person not with a pair of them becomes so ineffective. It's just, that's it.
That's why, like Art says, they have 4 pair on the boat. That's $20,000 worth of binoculars, right?
Yep.
They have, and I guarantee you, almost every boat in the fleet that catches has multiple pair on the boat.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars in fish catching and passenger returns.
But here's the thing: it's a huge investment. Yes, even $3,600 or $5,000, either one of you pair. But like Ricky said, it's a lifetime investment. And how much did your boat cost you? How much does your fuel cost you? What's your purpose of, if you're a serious fisherman and you really want to catch fish, buy the binoculars rather than upgrading your sonar. That would be my recommendation. What do you think about that?
I think you could go fish with a compass and gyros and do just fine. You don't need any of the other stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Neil and I have a 25-foot center console, and neither of us are the type of people that have enough cash floating around that $5,000 on a pair of binoculars is no big deal. Not even a question. And God forbid if one of them went down, it would be the very next purchase. You can't measure the effectiveness that you have on the water with them versus without them. Like, it's an immeasurable amount.
Yeah.
And it's not just, like Jimmy said, they're not a one-trick pony. It's not just for finding a bird. It's just, he used the word information gathering, and that's so what it is. Everything. Whatever it is, an oncoming boat. Is this guy underway or not underway? Is there a bird over there? What are those birds doing? Are those things just rafted up doing nothing? Is that thing looking at fish? Is that one bird marking a spot of fish? Hey, look at that. What looked like just one bird way off in the distance, there's a flat spot underneath that thing. Like, all of those scenarios play out every time, every day. And when it's subtle, when the fish aren't showing, when it's an acre of foam, that's one thing. But like when one bird is just showing off one little spot of fish and a slight disturbance of the water, you don't see that without those. It's when it's easy, anybody can do it. But let's face it, we all know it's often not that way. It's the other way a lot more, and that's just the difference between the guys that have success on most of their trips or not. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. More of your phone calls, more great info. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup, Southern California sport fishing voice on the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
Hey, we're so lucky here in San Diego. We have fantastic weather and great fishing. We also have 3 great shops to take care of anglers. Hi, this is Ben, and you will see me at my dad's shop, Dana Landing in Mission Bay. We call it the one-stop shop for a great day on the water because it truly is. Food, bait, tackle, beverages, and more. Our tackle shop, headed by Johnny, is certainly one of the best. We have you covered from bay bass to big tuna. Plus, we have Doug, one of the finest reel repair guys around. For freshwater tackle, nothing beats East County Bait and Tackle. Gene and the guys have the best rod and reels, the hottest lures, and live bait. Our newest shop is Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle, growing their stock of both fresh and saltwater tackle right in the heart of Lemon Grove. ECBT is at the end of the 67 freeway on Mapleview and Lakeside. Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle, 94 to Broadway in Lemon Grove. And Dana Landing is next to the Dana Lawn Tramp in Mission Bay. Check danalanding.com for more details.
Want to take your catch from fresh to superior grade? This is Robbie Gantt from AFCO. We developed the tools for the EKGMA process. Circuit Breaker is specially designed to disable the full length of the fish's spinal cord. The memory-resistant wire of AFCO's Circuit Breaker will not bend or kink, even after repeated use. Take your fish care to the next level with Circuit Breaker by AFCO. Available at a dealer near you or check out AFCO.com.
Like Robbie said, take your fish care to the next level with Circuit Breaker by AFCO. Check AFCO.com or your favorite tackle retailer.
On your next fishing trip, you want to maximize your catching power by using the best jigs available. That's why you need Sea Falcon. These handmade Japan brand certified lures will take your fishing and catching to the next level. All Sea Falcon jigs and plugs are hand painted in Japan, utilizing the highest level of quality and attention to detail. Gamakatsu's premium assist hooks are ideal to pair with Sea Falcon lures. From knife jigs, short jigs, poppers, and plugs, Sea Falcon lures get it done. Check SeaFalconUSA.com. Great fishing is what Seaforth Sports Fishing in Mission Bay is all about. With free parking and fully stocked tackle shop, Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Apollo, Outer Limits, Elgato Doe, Pride, Polaris Supreme, Tribute, Pacifica, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth, Sea-Watch, and San Diego offer the finest half and full day trips available. Seaforth Sport Fishing. To charters or schedule, check SeaforthLanding.com. Run by fishermen for fishermen in Mission Bay.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning, talking fishing, talking gyropros.com. Having a great time.
Yeah, Jimmy Kinsgmill, one of the legendary captains. Jimmy's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to fishing around here, around Cabo, around anywhere. So if you have questions for that, feel free to throw them out there. I want to mention one spot just opened up on our Cedros Sport Fishing Fish trip on July 31st to August 4th. And that is like absolute prime time.
Doubt.
It's been sold out for months, and somebody had to bail out. So if you want to go, one spot just opened up, and they do have some spots here and there. They have a trip going starting in June there, that if you want to go, get down there and go catch some fish at Cedros Sport Fishing. They have some spots open there. But this one is our trip, our Let's Talk Hookup trip, July 31st to August 4th. One spot open. You can get all the information at CedrosSportFishing.com on those spots. You can book right online there. And also, beer and fishing, that works pretty well, right? But when you combine taking kids fishing and stuff too, and a charity, that's what San Diego Beer Fishing Team has done. And they meet once a month, and it's amazing. I was talking to Kyle Lancaster, who heads this group, the other day, and he says they get like 250 people.
Such a rad
at
thing
these
those
meetings.
guys do.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
Amazing. And they meet. They're meeting at BNS Brewing on Sunday, June 4th at 9 a.m. They're going to have $10,000 in raffle prizes, $1 a ticket, and all the money they raise goes to benefit Captain Rallo's Kids at Sea, so taking kids fishing. So you want to join them. It's a great group of guys and gals. SDBeerFishingTeam.com for more information.
Very cool. The phones are absolutely packed up. If you want to get through, 213-432-1090 is your number right now. We had a great text come through, and this has been covered a little bit, but there are so many texts that relate directly to it that I wanted to get Jimmy's kind of opinion again, even though we've covered it partially. It says, this is from Stephen Fallbrook. Good morning, guys. Is the S250 practical on a smaller private boat where your eyes are lower to the horizon as opposed to being on a high water without a tower? And I know we've talked about that multiple times, but Jimmy, there's probably 50 text messages that we've gotten today that all have one version of that or another. And I know we kind of covered it a little bit, but maybe one more time. There's so many people that feel they have a small boat, they don't have a Marlin tower, or is that pair of gyros still a worthy or necessary purchase?
I mean, gyros is a game changer in any kind of fishing, anywhere, inshore, offshore, it doesn't matter. It's just information gathering to help you catch more fish. But I think really, if I just describe some of the differences between the two, and then you kind of make the decision on, do you want the new S250 or do you want the refurbished one? And really the main difference and the popularity of the M25E, the refurbished unit, is like all the guys that are fishing Costa Rica, Panama, Cabo, the CR123 batteries are more difficult to come by in foreign countries.
Oh, that's a thought.
And the AA's are just a no-brainer everywhere. You can, go to any store, you got them all over the globe. And so people that are fishing abroad, they like that feature.
Right.
And to me, like a skiff unit, the S250 is a little more compact, a little smaller,
lighter weight.
It's it's a half a pound lighter.
Half a pound lighter than the American.
And so the main difference is really just the battery. And if you're local, it kind of doesn't matter. CR123 batteries
on Amazon, and
you buy them
it'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah, buy a 10-pack and go from there.
And they're not expensive.
And they're a couple bucks a piece. If you buy them at the grocery store, they're like $5 or $6 a piece.
Yeah.
We have a pair of each on our small boat. Neil has the Bylight, now the S250, and I've got a pair of the Mariners, now the M25E. And like, I use my Mariners every time, and I can't imagine it being something else. Neil uses the S250s every time. He does, you know what I mean? You fall in love with what you use all the time. Neither of us could switch and use the other pair's glasses and like them half as much. And just like you said, go on Amazon, buy 100-pack of them, and it's just never a thing. We have a Tupperware container with an O-ring seal on our boat that's full of batteries, and there will never be a time where we don't have them.
Yep. And the S250 is got bigger eyepieces. The diameter of the eyepiece is larger, and the Baker eye shield doesn't fit as well. It's a struggle to stretch out the rubber and put it over it, and makes everything harder to tune and get all just right. So if you're skiff fishing and you're spot checking quickly, you're not going to be glassing for swordfish for 5 hours. Kind of the S250 is kind of the better way to go. Well, I think it's going to be a little more reliable. You know, the refurbished ones are refurbished.
Sure.
And they can break.
Yes.
I think, reliability.
And there's a 1-year warranty versus a 2-year warranty.
Right. And so that's a good part. The smaller, they don't accommodate the eye shields as much. And the one thing I do like a little bit better about the M25E is it has a little more rubber. Like there's more rubberized coating for it to not slide and move around when the boat's rocking around. And where the S250 is a little less rubberized and a little more subject to sliding around on your console or whatever. So when you have a skiff, I kind of recommend the pouch is really small, really convenient, and you just slide that thing in the pouch when you set it down, like if you're in a center console skiff.
Yeah.
Or have a good spot to set it.
Kind of brings into this question here. This is good. This is from Steve in Fairfield, California. Good morning. Another great show topic. I want to send in a pair of factory refurbished. How much would it cost, and how long does it take? He wants to send a pair in to be factory refurbished. So let's talk about that. Something breaks. Give us the lowdown on what.
So right now, the procedure for getting a unit fixed and sending back to Pennsylvania is you go to info@gyrobinos.com. So info@gyrobinos.com and say, "Hi, Tony. Can you send me an RMA number?" And what you want to have ready is you want to have your serial number, return address, return phone number. Include that in your email at info@gyrobinos.com. And right now, you're probably 2 weeks. And the flat fee has been $750 out of warranty. So, and really, people kind of think that's a lot, but other brands it'll be even more. And really, if you have an M25, it's a 2-piece frame and it's epoxied together. So when they take it and they have to do an internal repair, they have to crack that thing apart. You disassemble, crack it apart, do the repair, and then once they do the repair, they got to epoxy it back together. 24-hour cure time, and then the next 24 hours they dunk it in a tank in a meter of water and pressure test it to make sure there's no leaks. So that's
it's
48 hours of just dead time testing after the repair. So it takes a couple weeks, and right now we're 100% focused on us, on the fishing guys, and so the turnaround's been really good.
So basically the bottom line is if your gyros break and they're out of warranty, it's $750.
Yep.
Pretty much no matter what's wrong with it.
If it's an internal
problem.
Yep. And if we can get, like, if you have, strap breaks or whatever, I can usually accommodate. You go to Gyro Pros and I've got some straps and I got eye rings and that kind of stuff. Right now we don't want to bother Gyro Binos with the accessory questions and stuff, so throw them my way. Go to my site, call me. I'll answer all your questions, and then I'm going to
gyropros.com
at GyroPros, and then I'm going to send you back to Gyro Binos because we got to keep them rolling.
Yeah,
that's the main thing.
So, what if you break, God forbid, a lens? I mean, does that ever happen?
I've had somebody lose one. It fell off. They didn't have it snapped together properly. The button didn't come back out and click, and they lost it. And they have them. They can. I think it's pretty pricey.
It's pretty pricey. Yeah,
it is.
It's probably $1,000 or something.
Yeah. So don't break them.
But I don't want somebody to be scared of this either. I mean, I've had mine for over 10 years now, and I can tell you the number of times they've been back from service is still sitting steady at 0.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
same with mine. And that's the thing, is you got to use them. You buy them, don't put them in a little cupboard and be afraid to, oh my gosh, these things cost $5,000.
Run them.
Can't worry. Run them.
Well, when you get them is when you need to run them.
Yeah.
Run the heck out of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you want it. If it's going to break,
you want it to go in that warranty period, man.
You got it. You want it under warranty if you can.
And mine don't live an easy life. They bounce around. We're a small boat. We keep them inside the center console. We throw one of the bean bags when it's not in there. We throw that in the middle of the center console, and they both stay in the pouch just like Jimmy described, and that's it. I mean, they live a non-easy life, and they have been knock on wood.
Yeah.
They've been great.
Been great. All right.
Hey, another great text message came through. Hey, guys, great info. I won't go fishing without my Frasers. I can't tell you how much information they give you from a patty 2 miles away or birds, breaking fish, etc. They're a total game changer. By the way, I've had them hit the deck multiple times on my boat, and I have not had an issue in the last 4 years. That's from Jeff in Bay Park.
Wow.
Wow.
Cool.
That's good stuff, yeah. And that's the thing, is that they're made rugged. They were originally designed for military, and I can't imagine the military guys are real easy on them, right?
No.
So, they're not something that you want to
Don't
drop.
test it.
Don't test it. Don't test it. But they're made pretty rugged.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what if somebody has one of the older pair of the Bilights? I mean, compare the older Bilights with the S250, the new version, and it sounded like Tony was really saying, oh, well, the new version is way better. Is that true?
It's optically pretty much the same. They've just been made tougher. So the Bilight was 3.1 pounds, and the new S250 is 3.7 pounds. So there's and a lot of the parts, I mean, it was really the focus is to get all the weight out of the Bilight. And so a lot of the plastic parts are now machined metal or aluminum on the S250, and you can see the eyepieces are a little bigger. The arms that support the eyepiece are a little bit thicker. It's just kind of a more compact, more dense device. Feels tough. I've had 0 returns, and so when the M25Es first came out, I was probably sending back 1 out of 10 of the M25Es that didn't pass my test. So I would receive them. I would pull every single one out. I would turn them on, shake them around, check the gyro, cage and uncage, and if they passed my muster, then I would pass them on to my customers. And that was kind of one of the things that I wanted. And, and at first, we'd 1 in 10 was and I'd be on the phone. Hey, Tony, man, I got this. What's
going on? Yeah.
And so we went around in circles with that for about 1.5 years. And now I don't send any of them back. They're solid. Tony knows that. Tony knows that Jim's calling if it's not perfect.
They're paying attention.
They're paying a closer attention. It's more focused, more us. It's not, we got to do research on this other device.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, another great text here from Doug in Claremont. He says, hello, great show. What's the difference between your binoculars and the ones they sell at Baker Marine? Let's kind of clarify that. Because I think what they sell at Baker Marine are pretty much their own 7x50 and the Fujinons, right?
Well, I think they're probably talking about the Fujinon gyros.
Right.
The stabby scope. So the stabby scope, here's the deal. Both great pieces of equipment. The stabby scope uses 4 AA batteries versus our 2 AA batteries. The stabby scope has a quite larger ring. The gyro is bigger. The motor is bigger. Your 4 AA batteries last about 6 hours, and then you're changing batteries. Most guys that use Fujinon plug them into external power cord because the heat goes through batteries a lot. Mm-hmm. The gimbal on a Fujinon has a single access point. And so when you're scanning side to side, the gyro is trying to keep up with your scan, and one prism goes further from one eye and closer to the other eye, and it goes and it's jittery.
Yeah.
And so when you're scanning, you got to just kind of, the Fujinon is going to be a device that's going to be able to look farther because it can stabilize better the bump up and down. And so your image at 14 power, and the stabby scopes, if you ever buy a stabby scope, don't buy a 16. The only one to buy is a 12. The 16s are terrible. It just doesn't work.
So they're 7 by 12.
They're 12 by 40.
12
is
by
a stabby scope.
Versus these are
14 by 40.
Or 14 by 41.
41.
And I'm going to say that the S250 is more comparable in ergonomics as a Fujinon. And
so you're talking about the stabby scope, which is an electronic stabilizer.
No, the stabby scope is a true gyro,
and those are in the same.
It's a $6,000.
$6,000. They're more expensive.
Yeah, they're $700 to $1,000 more than the S250.
Okay.
And it's kind of like.
And what's the one that I always get them confused?
Techno-Stabby.
The Techno-Stabby is the one.
The Techno-Stabby is the cheap one.
It's a cheap one.
Yeah, that's not the real deal.
Yeah, it's not a real.
But
gyro.
your only two choices if you want a real gyro is a stabby scope or a Fraser.
Yeah,
those are the real deals. Those are the only two devices, and it's over time really been personal preference. The sport boat guys, I think probably more of them will have a stabby scope on there. Mostly because of Brian at Baker Marine can fix them 5 minutes away.
You got it.
Yeah.
And they don't have to send them to Pennsylvania.
And that doesn't mean that it's not a good product, but the biggest factor is
repair.
Is Baker Marine is across the street.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest thing.
And they have the same problems that Fraser does. Parts, they can't get parts. It's super expensive. It's $1,500 or $2,000 for every repair. So it's like it's apples and oranges. It's what. But anyway, explaining the difference is that the Frasers have two access points. Each prism is on its own axis. And so when you scan side to side, the prisms stay the same distance from each eye. So you can scan it really fast and you don't get distortion. So you're basically looking at much more water, much faster than you can with a Fujinon.
We always think on our boat, like we don't have a tower that we're locked into and trying to pick apart, the ocean millimeter by millimeter. Like we when we're looking for fish offshore, we run our boat for about a mile. We pull the boat completely out of gear, and both of us are standing up and sweeping back and forth and like kind of comparing notes on one half of the boat and the other half of the boat, and then you'll sweep over to the other guy's side and kind of do the same thing. And it either gives us a link to the game plan, or it looks better this direction, or we don't see it, or we keep going, or this is where we're, whatever it might be. And the faster scan rate, I think, is what, especially on a smaller boat that is moving around a little more. In our case scenario, that was the big difference maker for us.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of questions, a lot of text about, I don't have a tower. Are these going to help me? Like Tim Stipe just sent. Yes.
Oh yeah, it's a game changer.
It's like almost an absolute.
I promise.
In fact, it would probably help you more if you're just sitting deck level to have a pair of gyro binoculars and see things you're never going to see
naked eye
with the naked eye.
Well, this was a very interesting take. I'm trying to bring his text back up, and it was. What do you think is a better investment on my boat? This from a small boat, a Marlin tower, like a second station, or a pair of gyros, because the cost is about the same. And it's a very interesting question. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same investment. Say you've got a smaller pilot house boat. You're probably looking about the same money to put a little tower. And elevation is important, and a pair of gyros is important. So,
Jimmy,
not an easy decision.
Gyros in a beanbag.
Yeah.
Gyros in a beanbag.
No doubt.
Beanbag on the roof is game changer.
Yeah.
You can stay in the glasses forever in a beanbag.
Yeah.
It's much more comfortable in a tower.
I think that you would catch more if your determining factor is, you adding a major purchase to your boat every year, every couple of years. I think you would catch yourself more fish with a beanbag and a pair of those glasses over the next couple of years, and then the following year with tax return, with whatever fun money got, then put the tower on that much later.
So you do gyros, beanbag, and ear tech headset.
Oh, the headset.
So the guy, you're in your Parker pilot house, right?
Big boat guy.
Yeah,
not
big boat
and
guy.
you're in the pilot house, and there's a guy on the roof, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I got sheer waters, they're heading west.
Oh, I got a cheaper way. You just stomp your feet.
Yeah, Jimmy,
well, that was how we used to do it.
Yeah. Jimmy forgot that boats like ours, you're still never more than about 4 feet away from the other guy. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way, including finding out who's going fishing on the Liberty. You stay tuned. More Let's Talk Hookup on the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
Back in 1979, my parents started Fast Lane Sailing Center. They lived in a VW van in the parking lot and sold catamaran sailboats. And over the years, the shop has evolved. They've sold everything from windsurfers to barbecues, paddleboards and trailers. Here's the point. For over 40 years, my parents, and eventually me, my brother Jared, and sister Ava, have been in the business of fun and making memories on the water with friends and family. If something's in the shop, it's a product we use, are passionate and knowledgeable about, and want to share with you. We encourage you to come down to our shop, Fast Lane Kayaking on Mission Bay, and check out our huge selection of Hobie Mirage kayaks, accessories, and more. And let's get you on the water, fishing with friends, enjoying the coast with your family, or exploring mountain lakes in solitude. In other words, having fun and making memories.
For your next fishing adventure, check Point Loma Sport Fishing. They offer half-day trips on the Daily Double and full-day trips on the Mission Bell every day. Perfect for novice or seasoned fishermen. Point Loma Sport Fishing also offers overnight to multi-day trips on the American Angler, Vagabond, Intrepid, Independence, Loan, T-Bird, Game Changer, and more. Visit PointLomaSportFishing.com where you can purchase tickets online. Want to go fishing? Point Loma Sport Fishing has you covered.
When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know, CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere.
Good morning, anglers. This is Bob Hoots at Costa Sunglasses. Costa is introducing its new Pro Series. This high-performance sunglass series includes Costa's legacy frame styles for a finely tuned fit with minimal light intrusion. Each Pro Series frame is designed with vented, adjustable nose pads, sweat channels, and side shields for improved comfort while on the water. Combined with Costa's 580 polarized lens technology, the new Pro Series allows captains, guides, and anglers to see what's out there. Visit your local Costa dealer or visit us online at CostaSunglasses.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. All right, we're going to find out who's going fishing on a full-day trip, whether it be a call or texter. Jimmy's going to do us the honors here. And we have a texter today, so congratulations to Kevin in San Clemente. You are going fishing on board the Liberty at a Fisherman's Landing. Congratulations.
All right, Jimmy Kinsgmill. Wow. I mean, we didn't even talk about fishing, and this guy is so full of knowledge.
How did that happen?
When it comes to fishing, we just talked binos for 2 hours, but you want to come back?
Absolutely.
Talk
anytime.
fishing? All right.
Yeah, I'd love
it.
to.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to investigate a pair of these binoculars that you have, these amazing devices that are a must-have for a fisherman, how do we do that?
You know what? Just go to gyropros.com. My phone number's right there at the top. Give me a call. Give me a text. I'd be happy to answer any questions you got, whether it's worth it or not. You know kind of what that answer is already, but it's just a game changer if you want to step it up, and it's a lifetime thing. It's not you're going to use it on every trip, every time you go out.
Yes, 100%.
Fishing or not, whale
doesn't
watching,
matter. Whale watching, yeah,
everything.
Seeing what's going on, yeah. Watching Jupiter from your house, whatever.
Instant info.
Yeah. Instant info everywhere. Yeah, no, they're a game changing thing. And so there's 2 different models you can get. You can get the brand new S250, which is $49.95, right?
Yep.
And then you can get the refurbished M25E Mariner for $3,600.
Correct.
Yeah, either one, great unit. And Jimmy, you have them in stock now.
I do. I have them in stock. If you can wait a week, I'm going to send you straight to the factory so they can mail it to you direct and keep their money flowing.
Okay, but if you're in a hurry?
If you're in a hurry, I have them.
Yeah. All right, pick them up. All right, again, gyropros.com. It's on the Let's Talk Hookup website. Just go to our links page. Link right to there. Jimmy, thanks for the time.
Awesome
you
job,
appreciate
bro.
it very much.
Super fun.
Hey, Thanks to Christian for manning the phones, doing a great job on the board there, and thanks to Adam for all he does on the Let's Talk Hookup app and website and more. So tomorrow, Let's Talk Hookup. Captain Matt Barlow and Ryan Block from the Limitless are going to be here. I'll bet they're fishing today, so they'll have some fresh info tomorrow morning, 7 and 9 a.m. We'll be right back here on the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio and the Let's Talk Hookup app. We'll see you then.